Please hold for Hank drinking water. Okay, so they released the workout last night, and I have been shooting all day, not for YouTube, sorry, for my other job. And so I'm waiting until Saturday morning to do the workout, but I wanted to sit down and give some of my initial thoughts before I talk to too many people or start seeing too many strategies, just so you guys can see like the actual process of how. I just feel like this workout is gonna be all about strategy, and I have a feeling my strategy maybe is going to evolve a couple different times. So when Dave, okay, well, I shouldn't say when Dave first released the workout, I just, the way I saw the workout for the first time was I opened Instagram and Dave's post was right there staring me in the face. When he released the workout, I was like, yay, muscle ups, bleh, wall balls and rowing. But I think the fact that your strategy is so important in this one, that makes it like more exciting and more like a puzzle to me, which I don't know, I like that kind of stuff. I like when I get to win by being smarter. Wow, that sounded so terrible. And I don't mean by being smarter like I figure out how to hack the workout, because like, you know, sometimes I think athletes, you see it in local comps a lot where people, you know, they find loopholes or whatever. Like a couple people with the dumbbell thrusters a few weeks ago were resting the bottom head on their shoulder and the top head was up here, so their range of motion in the thruster was like half, instead of having the dumbbell on their shoulders and doing like a true like shoulder to overhead press. Anyway, I don't mean like outsmarting people in that way, but when something is so reliant on strategy, I just think that like, I think that being a smart athlete and knowing how to strategize is an important part of being an athlete. So it's not always just about like who can hurt the most and who can go for the longest and who can lift the most. It like sometimes it is about like, okay, who can be smart, who can strategize, and who can figure out like, who knows themselves well enough to make this workout work in their favor. So gut reaction for this workout, which I think is probably similar to a lot of people's gut reaction, is, oh, easy, 10 rounds of 4 muscle ups, 8 calorie row, 12 wall balls. It's not a bad idea, but it also depends on your muscle up capacity and your wall ball capacity. So of course that's my gut reaction, and I was talking to some of my teammates and they kind of said the same thing, and then I kind of started thinking, I'm like, okay, well, 10 rounds of 4 muscle ups is a lot for me, and I definitely will not be able to maintain 4 unbroken for 10 rounds, which means I'm probably going 2 and 2, but with 30 seconds in between. And it's like, holy crap, if I'm resting 30 seconds in between 2 sets of muscle ups when I could be doing something else, like that's so much wasted time. And 10 rounds of 12 wall balls, I just don't I don't think I will be able to stay unbroken. And so it's like, I think the idea here, the foundation of your strategy should be, what rep scheme can I do unbroken? So I don't think, here's the thing, even if I can do 10 rounds of 12 wall balls unbroken, I know myself and I hate wall balls, and if I have to do 12 of them, I'm probably going to hesitate picking up the wall ball. So then I'm resting too much, and then I'm wasting time that could be utilized somewhere else. So I'm thinking, well, I could do 2 muscle ups instead of 4, so maybe I go 2, 4, 6. And I'm like, well, 4 calories on the rower is stupid. So it's just so much transition time getting in and out of the rower. So you don't want to do small sets on the rower. It just is, I think that's silly. So then I was like, all right, well, what if I do 2 muscle ups, 8 calories on the rower, 6 wall balls for 10 rounds. Then I would have 10 rounds of just 2 muscle ups and 6 wall balls. That feels much more doable to me. It feels like a rep scheme where I could keep moving, and that's kind of where I've landed right now. Forget everything I just said. A lot has changed, despite not really much happening. So last night, Hank's about to grab a bone, so if you hear him chomping away, Apologies. So last night, I had a conversation with one of my teammates, and she kind of gave me the rundown on how her attempt went and how a couple other people at the gym did. And it turns out this is a completely different workout than I thought it was. So first of all, when I talked to you guys yesterday, which I realize is happening all in the same moment for you, but to me it was yesterday. So when I talked to you guys yesterday, I did not know about the tie break. So I hadn't really thought about it at all. And then I saw somebody, CrossFit Games retweeted somebody's score sheet or whatever on Twitter. And I noticed that they had a tie break time, and then in my head up, because it was just their little bottom strip, and I was like, tie break time, what could that possibly be? Because normally the tie break time is like, oh, at your last set of deadlifts, or at your last set of this, or your whatever. But I'm like, if you can complete it as desired, there is no last set or previous set. So like, what could possibly be this? So then I like looked up the full score sheet, and I was reading the standards, yada, yada, yada. And I realized that the tie break is when you complete the wall balls and the rowing, which means if you get time capped and you still have rowing or wall balls left to do, you do not have a tie break time. The rep scheme I talked about yesterday, where it was the 10 rounds of 2, 8, 6, and then 10 rounds of 2, 6. If I got time capped, I would have wall balls left, which means I wouldn't have a tie break time. And then I talked to my teammate, and I'm like, well, how did your run go? What strategy did you use? So a couple people in the gym that are like at my level or above used a very similar strategy where they kind of did a big set of muscle ups out the gate, and I'm talking like 5, not like huge. Muscle ups out the gate, and then kind of like did some wall balls, went back, did a couple muscle ups, did some rowing, went back, did a couple muscle ups. And the idea was that they wanted to do more muscle ups in the front end while they were less fatigued, because that's obviously the harder movement of the 3. And then, so it's like more muscle ups in the front, just a little bit of wall balls and rowing. And then as the workout progressed, it would kind of go like this. And then eventually you would just have some muscle ups left over to do. Well, they got time capped before they were at a point where they just had muscle ups left to do. They both still had wall balls and rowing left, which means neither of them got a time cap. And their scores were 206 and 220. Then we had a couple girls who just recently got their muscle ups or are not super comfortable with muscle ups yet. And they did all the wall balls and rowing first, got a tie break time, somewhere between like 13 and 15 minutes, and then spent the last 7 to 5 minutes just doing muscle ups. And they both got, I think, like 212 with a tie break time. And now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't know about the tie break, so that of course changes things, especially in a workout like this where you're probably gonna end up getting the same amount of reps as a lot of other people. And B, the time per rep is something I didn't think about. So obviously the goal of this workout, if you take away what the actual movements are, the goal is just total possible reps. It doesn't matter how hard those reps are. It doesn't matter if they're muscle ups or rowing or wall balls. It's just a number. And so the time per rep is much shorter on rowing and wall balls than it is on muscle ups, just because of how long it takes to do a muscle up versus how long it takes 2 pulls to row a calorie, or however many, second and a half it takes to do a wall ball or whatever. Then it kind of does make sense to do more of the wall balls and the rowing, because you're just trying to rack up reps. Another thing I wasn't taking into consideration, point C, is after reading some analysis of this workout, only the top 2% of women are finishing, whereas the top 11% of men are finishing. So it's like, if you're not in the top 2%, which most of us aren't, you have to plan to not finish this workout, which means you have to plan to make sure you finish the wall balls and the rowing so you have a tie break. Now, of course, what I'm about to say is fully dependent on your level. Like the strategy that I'm talking about and the way I'm thinking about this workout obviously does not apply to elite athletes. Like, all the elite athletes are gonna finish this workout. I don't think that they have to worry about good tie breaks necessarily. I think it's how fast can you finish. which goes back to what I was saying yesterday about like what rep scheme works for you in a way that you can stay unbroken and keep moving. But if you're not gonna finish this workout, you have to make sure you do finish the wall balls and the rowing. And then, so it's kind of like, how fast can you finish the wall balls and the rowing? And then the muscle ups become like this cherry on top bonus round where it's like, okay, I got my tie break, I finished the workout. Now, if I can get more muscle ups than the person next to me, that means I win. And so this also completely changes the workout in my mind and makes it a much more miserable workout and much more similar to 19.1, where it's just a shitty amount of time of rowing and wall balls. And then after that, you're like, all right, now I have to like scrape the bottom of my energy barrel and try and get some muscle ups in. And how many muscle ups can I get? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way, but I think for people at or around my level, that's kind of the way that we have to think about this workout. So later, when I go in to do the workout in about an hour, I think my plan is to, at 3, 2, 1, go, I am going to jump up and do a chunk of muscle ups. And I'm talking like 3 to 5, just to get some out of the way while I'm completely fresh. And then I kind of am going to jump into the wall balls and the rowing. Probably 10 rounds of 8 and 12, just because I don't really know another way to break it up that makes sense. Maybe I would do a little bit more rowing each round, but I'm definitely not gonna do more than 12 wall balls. That's my plan. Okay, forget everything I said again. I got to the gym yesterday and I started talking to Samantha and started talking about the strategy that I explained to you guys, where I was gonna do a big chunk of muscle ups in the beginning and then just forget about the muscle ups. Just focus on getting the wall balls and the rowing done with 10 rounds of 8 and 12. And then she was like, can you do 10 rounds of 12 unbroken wall balls? And I was like, no. And she was like, okay, then we need a new strategy. And I was like, okay. And she was like, hang on, I think I know what to do. And she ran away. And then she was gone, and I was very confused. And then she came back with a little whiteboard. What about this?
Because it breaks that wall ball setup.
Yeah, I could do that.
So you're still getting 12 every round, but you're not having to do 12 unbroken.
Yeah. And then you think I should still start like 3, 2, 1, go, do a chunk of muscle ups?
Yeah, do like 3.
And then just like, honestly, I probably will just do 1 muscle up.
Yeah, which is fine. You just don't want to fail any reps and then get this done, do 1.
Right, so it's like if I can jump up and do a set of 3 to 5,
yeah,
then I do this, and then I'll
and then you'll go to
hopefully finish this stuff
wall balls,
with
row, wall balls, and then 1, and then you'll finish it with time left.
15 muscle ups under my belt.
Yeah. I think that would be great.
All right.
Let's try it.
Let's try it. It's the most similar to my first strategy, so I guess my gut reaction was good, but it just was way smarter. The whiteboard said 1 to 2 muscle ups, but I decided for myself just 1, because I know if I only have 10 seconds rest, I know I can jump up and do 1 every time. If I have to do 2, I kind of start thinking about it more. What you don't want to do in this workout is think. You want to just not think and just go. So if your set of muscle ups is a set big enough that you have to think about it, it's too big. So I'm only doing 1 muscle up, so I don't have to think about it, I just go. And then the wall balls are broken up by the row, and I definitely can keep 6 unbroken. And that is also a small enough set that I don't have to think about it. Where if it was like 10 to 12 wall balls, I kind of stare at the med ball a little bit and go, oh man, I really don't want to pick up this med ball. And I still was on the very first round gonna do kind of a max set. And when I say max set, I mean a max set stopping 1 to 2 reps before failure. But I jumped up and I did 5 unbroken pretty comfortably. I could have done a 6th, but I would have been pushing that failure line. And then all the rest of the rounds I did 1. And so by the time I finished the wall balls and the rowing, I had accumulated 14 muscle ups. And my tie break was 17:07. So now I basically had a little under 3 minutes to just bang out as many muscle ups as possible. And anyway, this this strategy worked better than I could have possibly hoped. It was the most successful strategy that we have ever come up with, possibly in my athletic career, because I suck at, I don't want to say I suck at wall balls and rowing, but mentally, a wall ball rowing workout is not my jam. Like, I did terribly in 19.1, like just so bad, and you could see it on my face, and I just wanted to quit the whole time, and it was a disaster. Whereas this workout, holy crap, I have never transitioned so seamlessly in my life. I just kind of boop, did my muscle up, walked over, picked up the wall ball, did my 6, sat down on the rower, pulled my 8, you know, and I had a pace that I wanted to keep my rower at, and I was able to keep that pace. I got off the rower, walked over, picked up the med ball, walked over. She was giving me 10 seconds before my muscle up, but that was kind of the only time where I was like resting. The rest was just kind of more of a, I was trying to be more of like a seamless transition stuff, because you just, in this workout, you just do not want to waste time. And so I think my first strategy maybe was a good initial gut reaction, but this one worked way better, because then I'm not doing 10 rounds of just muscle ups and wall balls. You know, I was able to get all of the rowing and the wall balls done in a good amount of time. So that was the winner. I honestly wouldn't change a thing. It kept me in small sets, which meant I was able to just keep moving, and I'm very, very happy with my score. In the last 3 minutes, I was able to bang out 7 single muscle ups, and everyone was the hardest muscle up I've done in my life. So I ended up with a score of 221. I think I am going to repeat this on Monday, but I'm really not changing anything. Really? Hi, Timothy. Timothy came to say hi. He doesn't leave the porch. Don't worry, guys. He's a very good cat. So when I redo this on Monday, the only thing I'm going to change is maybe I'm gonna start my first round the same, 5 muscle ups, and then I just think I'll maybe start the rest of the rounds with 2 muscle ups and see how long I can hang on to that, with still only giving myself about 10 seconds rest. If I have to rest more than that to do 2, I'm gonna just drop to 1 again. But even if I can get a couple rounds of 2 muscle ups to start the round, it might allow me to get a few more reps at the end. But man, I did not hate this workout as much as I thought I would, and I think it was because of the small sets. I told Sam, when she started judging me, she was counting, you know, when I was on my second round, for example, and I started the wall balls, she would go 13, 14, 15, and I told her, I yelled at her, not yelled at her, but I said to her in the middle of the workout, I said, I don't want to know the total number, and she was like, okay, that's fine. So every set, she was just counting up to 6. And then on the rower, she'd count up to 8, go back to the wall balls, she'd just count up to 6. And then on the muscle up, she would tell me, okay, that's 7. But because I was only doing 1, she's like, okay, that's 8 muscle ups. Oh, okay, that's 10 muscle ups. And that kind of allowed me to stay aware of where I was without constantly being like, holy shit, I'm only on my 21st wall ball. Holy shit, I still have 40 calories on this rower left. This workout, I think this workout is 100% about strategy, but your strategy is 100% about what is going to allow you to not think at all.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, and I realized that last night. Just break up those wall balls, because then you can just hop up on the rings, right? Like, it just, most of the transition time people were eating up is just staring at the rings for 10, 15 seconds before they did 2, 3, whatever.
Pick a number that you don't have to think about.
You don't have to think about. Same with the wall balls. You don't have to think about 6. Just pick it the fuck up. And the row, sure, you push a little bit, but like, you're probably gonna recover.
You do.
Yeah, wow.
So anyway, I kind of enjoyed this workout and I hope you guys did too. If you haven't done it yet, good luck. I would love to hear everybody's strategies. I'm like dying to know how everybody is splitting this up and what's working for people. So definitely let me know and stay tuned. I will update you guys about my final score on Monday over on my Instagram, of course. So if you're curious about how my redo goes, I'll tell you over on Instagram, even though you're not gonna get it in this video. So we made it through the open, guys. Congrats, it's done. Now we move on to all these sanctional qualifiers. Yay. I actually enjoy those a little bit more because they're not 5 weeks long. But congrats, sorry for all those dogs barking over there. But congratulations if you made it through this open, whether it was scaled or RX or a mix of both. It's good to test yourself and push yourself and to just really kind of drink the Kool-Aid a little bit, at least once a year. Okay, see you next week, guys.